A lot of the most physically demanding events of the season are reserved for the main league, but today we have one of the exceptions with Triathlon in the B League. Hello everyone, I'm your host Quack, and right now the Wave Breakers have moved up into the point lead just narrowly over the Flashbangs and Terra Titans after getting a gold medal with their rookie marble last event in the Sand Moguls, which is going to play a factor in this event as well as part 2 of the course. At this point it needs no introduction as we saw it in the main league, but we'll see how unpredictable it is. We saw how much chaos there was with the racing in the main league version, and really every segment of the track is crucial. The track section is a little bit more predictable, it's a little easier to get ahead, but you also have to navigate it cleanly, and then the other parts can be true chaos. But we begin with Heat 1 with the Positrons, Purple Flames, Flashbangs, and Soaring Skies. Those latter two are pretty decently high in the standings right now, and it's the Flashbangs out in front right now. The Soaring Skies also have a chance to move up in the standings. It looks like those two are trying to advance. The Positrons are in third, are nowhere near the other two, and that's how it will stay. The Flashbangs and Soaring Skies are moving on to the next round. I only briefly mentioned it in the main league, but all three of the medalists from Triathlon in the main league back in Season 1 failed to qualify, so all of them are in this B League, none of them in this heat, but the Flashbangs doing a great job here, perfectly navigating that second half of the course especially, really all parts of this course actually. The Flashbangs looking good with their member Spark moving on with an 11:37, not the greatest time, but that's still very, very solid. Now we move on to the Rose Rollers, Orange Fizz, Gugos, and Wizard Lizards in this one. The Wizard Lizards were great in this event in the B League in Season 1. And you're off. The Rose Rollers starting off with the lead right now, but the Gugos take it. It's going back and forth between them, but the Rose Rollers, I think, will hold it through the rest of the track. No, they won't. The Gugos go by, as do the Wizard Lizards. It looks like the Rose Rollers are giving chase. They're running out of time. They're not going to make it. And the Rose Rollers are done. They put up a valiant effort, though. The Orchid, their captain, doing an amazing job here. And that's one of their marbles that usually hasn't been the greatest. Look at how many lead changes there were in this one, even in the track section alone. And look at that move. They tried to cut back around the Wizard Lizards, but it just didn't work, and they were trailing throughout the sand section. That was quite a battle for advancement, but the Gugos and Wizard Lizards will be moving on. Froth from Orange Fizz never coming into play here, and they're one of those teams trying to move up into the title fight. I don't think they'll be doing it here. But now we move on to the Slush Rush, Terra Titans, Gigawatts, and Balls of Water in this one. Several very notable teams, including Mud, who won this event back in Season 1 in the main league. Right now it's the Balls of Water, though, out front with Slush Rush in the advancement zone. The Terra Titans surprisingly behind right now, and it doesn't look like they're catching up. Slush Rush go on the near side to take the lead, and the Gigawatts take the second advancement spot at the final moments. The Gigawatts really pulling off an upset there. They're currently 10th place in the standings, which is a place they're a bit familiar with after Season 2 in the B League, or at least they're familiar with 11th, which is close enough, but either way, they're trying to finally get a truly good season, even in the B League here, and it looks like they're trying to do it right here. The Balls of Water, though, unfortunately not living up to their name, with the water section really going to ruin their race, and their captain Hydrate will have to settle for a bottom half finish. Hail from Slush Rush also putting up a valiant effort to win this one, as now we move on to the Wave Breakers, Checkmates, Pink Palettes, and Rhapsody in Blue. The two blue teams here both medaled in this event back in the main league. And we're off as the Checkmates, who have a pretty solid lead in the track section, but Floaters quickly catching up from the Wave Breakers, and now they go by, as so do the Rhapsody in Blue. Now the Checkmates come back through on the sand, but they're not going to hold it through the water, and Rhapsody in Blue, another great battle for that second place spot, but Rhapsody in Blue will be getting it done in the very last moments. The Pink Palettes, unfortunately, not able to play into this one at all. They're currently not in the relegation zone, but they're only 1 point above it, and a bottom half result here is not going to help. But the blue team's managing to get it done here, unsurprisingly, considering their tenure in this event in the past. But the Wave Breakers looking great so far. They did a great job in this event back in Season 1, and Percussion from Rhapsody in Blue, one of their better members, also going to be able to make it. Now we look at the bottom half results. Unsurprisingly, Orchid, the captain of the Rose Rollers, gets best of the rest after their valiant effort in their heat. Meanwhile, Mud from the Terra Titans gets dead last. That was not something I saw coming. But now we move on to the semifinals with the Wizard Lizards, Slush Rush, Flashbangs, and Rhapsody in Blue in this one. Several notable teams toward the middle of the standings, and we're off. It's the Flashbangs starting up with the lead right now, but the Hail takes it from the Slush Rush. The Flashbangs try to go back around, but it's just not going to happen in that corner. Now everybody's going by the Flashbangs. They've completely fumbled that advancement spot, and Rhapsody in Blue, will they hold on? Yes, they will. And the other two really not able to put up a fight here. Slush Rush going to control the pace here, really end-to-end with Hail, doing a great job so far, and Rhapsody in Blue also pulling off a bit of an upset, starting off in the back, and you can tell early on they were trying to fight their way around. They managed to get through, and that one corner right there, this penultimate track corner, is just so pivotal to this race, trying to make moves, and meanwhile, the Wizard Lizards doing a great job in their first heat, but really not able to stick the landing here and messing up a lot of the sand section. Their reserve Okamoto will go no further further, and nor will the Flashbangs. They were trying to take the point lead, but now they might have a challenge from the Wave Breakers who are in this heat, as well as the Gugos, Soaring Skies, and Gigawatts, several teams a couple that have been relegated before. And you're off. The Gigawatts starting off with the lead right now, but the Wave Breakers are right behind them in the advancement zone. The Soaring Skies are also up there in contact, and now they go by. The Wave Breakers are falling to the back, and now the Soaring Skies go by in the water, and here come the Gugos, who also take the advancement spot. Oh, the Gigawatts. Unfortunately, they were not able to mount a charge toward the end. The water was where they made their big move in the heats, but this time that was where they lost all their positions. It's unfortunate. The Gigawatts not going to be able to get a medal here. They're one of those teams that's still never won a gold medal, even in the B League, and unfortunately it's not going to come today. But the Soaring Skies and Gugos putting up a great effort here through the sand, navigating it really well, and into the water. The Gugos just perfectly managed to manage their speed, and they will be moving on to the final with Sludge. And the Wave Breakers also not moving on. It's going to be interesting to compare them and the Flashbangs. But Floater actually does better than Spark, which means the Wave Breakers, at the very least, will be holding on ahead of the Flashbangs. And most of the contenders are already out. The Soaring Skies in 5th are still in this one. They could be a challenger. But they're up against Rhapsody in Blue, the Slush Rush, and the Gugos. And we'll see how these teams do for the gold. And we're off. It's the Soaring Skies with the lead. But here come the Slush Rush, trying to win their first ever gold medal. The Soaring Skies in 2nd place, though, as a Rhapsody in Blue fighting for it. The Gugos, I think, at this point are already out. But Hale has a massive lead. No one's going to catch them. And the Slush Rush will hold on for the gold medal of B-League Triathlon. The Slush Rush have never won a gold medal in the main league or the B League. It's been so many events. By my count, that's, 36 or so? But either way, they're finally going to get it done and win a gold medal here. Unbelievable for the Slush Rush. It's been taken so long, and all of these other teams have already won something, at least in the B League, but the Soaring Skies will hold on for the silver. That is crucial for them, trying to move up into the championship fight, and the Gugos getting another B League medal to their name. They had quite a handful of those at the start of the Season 2 B League, and unfortunately for Rhapsody in Blue, they will not be getting a medal. But we look at the results there. 11:51 is a very solid time, but I didn't even notice their semifinal time. And 11:11 is, I think, the best time we've seen in either league in this event. Very impressive for Hale of the Slush Rush. They definitely earned that win with all of that racing. And here is the podium. The Slush Rush, after all this time, finally get to stand on top of a podium. Even if it's the B League, I imagine this is still going to be special for them. But now we look at the standings. The Wave Breakers hold on to the point lead. Unsurprisingly, it's actually stretched just a tiny bit to 4 points now over the Flashbangs. Meanwhile, the Soaring Skies have definitely come up into this battle. Even the Slush Rush are now making a stand up to 5th place in the standings after 2 back-to-back medals. Meanwhile, the Pink Pallets have unsurprisingly fallen into the relegation zone. We'll have to see how things change as we move into the next event, which will be Funnel Descent. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.